Phantom Realm, Part 1. Starting afresh in an unfamiliar city can be challenging for anyone. When Anjali stepped into this city, she thought everything would be fine. But the first day was tough. Shifting all her belongings and arguing with the landlord, Mr. Verma, about the rent left her exhausted. In the evening, she went to the bathroom to take a shower. Standing under the cold water, she let the fatigue of the day wash away. Slowly, she began humming her childhood songs. Anjali had always been a cheerful and independent girl, but today she felt a little down. Perhaps the sadness of being away from her home and family was bothering her. As she stepped out of the bathroom, the doorbell rang. Anjali hurriedly got dressed and ran to the door. It was Ramesh, the milkman. "Hello, madam. I'm Ramesh. I deliver milk. If you'd like, I can start delivering milk here from tomorrow." As soon as Anjali heard this, she felt Ramesh's face looked familiar. There were rumors in the city that he charged people extra money for milk. Before Anjali could say anything, she remembered that both the bathroom tap and geyser were still running. "Oh my God!" she shouted and ran back to the bathroom. But when she reached there, she was surprised to find that the tap and geyser were turned off. She returned to the door and saw that Ramesh had left. But on the nearby stand, there was a packet of milk and some loose change. The evening had turned into a deep night. As Anjali lay on her bed, she wondered if everything in this house was normal. Amidst the strange happenings, she eventually fell asleep. The next day, after a tiring day at work, she returned home and found that the lights in the house were off and everything was neatly arranged. She thought Mr. Verma must have done it. Just then, her neighbor, Savitri auntie, mentioned, "You left the door open, so I made sure everything was fine. You should be more careful next time." Anjali thanked her and sighed in relief. 2 days later, Anjali began preparing for her birthday party. She invited Savitri auntie too, and auntie mentioned she would come later in the evening. On the day of the party, Anjali's friends, Neha, Pooja, and other office colleagues gathered for the celebration. The party began, filled with food, drinks, and fun. Throughout the evening, Anjali kept looking for Savitri auntie. Finally, auntie arrived, and Anjali introduced her to everyone. After the party, Neha and Pooja asked, "Who were you talking to?" Anjali replied, "Savitri auntie, my new friend." Neha, surprised, said, "There was no Savitri auntie at the party." Anjali showed them the pictures from the party, but in every photo, Savitri was absent. The next day, Anjali spoke to the landlord, Mr. Verma. He told her, "A woman named Savitri used to live here. She died a few years ago after falling from the roof. The house has been vacant since then." Anjali's skin crawled. Was that Savitri's ghost? What happened next? To find out, read the next part of Phantom Realm. Realm of Spirits, Part 2, Confronting the Truth. Anjali was deeply shaken after hearing Savitri's story from the landlord. She couldn't believe that her recent experiences might not have been ordinary. However, she tried to stay calm, thinking that perhaps the landlord's tale was just a rumor. That night, as Anjali lay in bed, a storm of fear and questions brewed in her mind. She kept reassuring herself that everything she had experienced was merely a figment of her imagination. But sleep eluded her. Around 3 a.m., a faint rustling sound filled the room. She noticed that one corner of the room was enveloped in an eerie chill. She felt as though someone was watching her. The following morning, Anjali resolved to uncover the truth. She began inspecting every nook and cranny of the house. Her eyes fell on an old storage room on the roof. The door was slightly ajar. Summoning her courage, she entered the room. It was dark and filled with dust. In one corner, she spotted an old trunk. She tried to open it, but it was rusted shut and incredibly heavy. Just then, she felt a faint breath on the back of her neck. She spun around quickly, but no one was there. Trembling with fear, she rushed downstairs. Anjali called her friends Neha and Pooja and narrated the entire incident. Neha suggested, "It might just be your imagination, but if you want, we can dig deeper into the history of this house." The three decided to visit the priest at a nearby temple. The priest was alarmed when he heard the house's name and said, "You should leave that place immediately. It is cursed. Savitri's spirit has not found peace yet." Taking the priest's warning seriously, Anjali decided to open the trunk on the roof. Accompanied by Neha and Pooja, she returned to the storage room. Together, they managed to pry the trunk open. Inside, they found an old diary, some photographs, and antique jewelry. The diary contained entries in Savitri's handwriting. It revealed that her husband had been abusive, and one night, to save herself, she killed him. To hide the evidence, she buried his body in the storage room. But after that, she began experiencing strange occurrences. On the last page, Savitri had written, "I want to atone for what I've done. My soul will never be free." After reading the diary, Anjali and her friends understood that Savitri's spirit was likely wandering because she hadn't sought forgiveness for her actions. But the bigger question was, would Savitri now harm Anjali? Anjali and her friends returned to the priest. He suggested performing a special ritual to grant the spirit peace. To release the spirit, the truth must come to light, he said. That night, with Savitri's diary and jewelry, they began the ritual. As the chants echoed, strong winds swept through the house. The lights flickered, and suddenly Savitri's shadowy figure appeared. The spirit angrily demanded, "Why have you trespassed into my home? This place belongs to me." Gathering her courage, Anjali responded, "I only want your soul to find peace, but the truth of what you did must come to light." The spirit initially raged, but then broke down in tears. She said, "What I did was out of self-defense, but my soul has been trapped in that moment ever since. Forgive me." Anjali completed the ritual and handed Savitri's diary to the police. Savitri's story was finally revealed to the world. Her spirit thanked Anjali and slowly disappeared. The next morning, Anjali felt a complete change in the atmosphere of the house. It was lighter and more serene. She decided she could now live there as Savitri had found peace at last. But was it truly over? Or was this just the beginning? To find out, stay tuned for the next chapter of Realm of Spirits. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon to stay updated, and like the video. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon with another thrilling story. Take care, and goodbye.